Well, hello and welcome to our reading of Iliad, Book 6. And thus far, Hektor has come back to the city and he's found his wife and their young child Andromache in a very moving scene, and this next section is also quite moving. And Andromache, has just poured her heart out to him and told him that he is all that she has in this world, and begs him not to go back into the fray, but to fight nearer the city. And this is Hektor's reply. So starting at 440. Great Hektor of the sparkling helmet. This is made up from this chorus helmet and Iolos, sparkling. From his sparkling helmet, with his sparkling helmet, then addressed her again. Akai indeed. The subject is tadi panta. All these things are of concern, neuter plural singular verb, are of concern to me, gunai woman. You might soften it a bit and say, my dear wife. Ainos I de'amai, but I am respectful terribly. So I feel shame terribly. So perhaps I feel deep shame. We'd probably say in English, I would feel deep shame before the Trojan men and the Trojan women who drag their dresses. This is from the helko root of dragging and peplos. If hose, note the accent here, it's going with kakos, if like a coward, aluskadzo, this is an intensitive form, an iterative form of alusko, to avoid. So if like a coward, I would shun away from the battle. I would skulk away from the battle. Nor does my heart bid me, from anoga, nor does my heart bid me, since I learnt to be, this is for ani here, mni, the infinitive, since I learnt to be estlos, noble, and I always to fight in the front row of the Trojans. So literally among the foremost Trojans. It's probably more literal sense of it here. So in the front ranks of the Trojans, we might translate it. Protoisi becomes idiomatic in Homer and in later Greek, to fight in the front ranks. It's where the bravest men went. Numenos, winning mega kleos, great glory, for my father and for myself. So M on our two for M our two here. For I know this well in my heart, in my mind and in my heart. I know that there will be a day, there will be a day, hot te, this is with an epsilon elided here, when Hire Ilios, when sacred Ilium, the Hire could be strong or mighty. This word can have a variety of meanings. The Hieros is holy, but the original meaning seems to have something to do with strength. So strong Ilium, or perhaps holy Ilium. When one day holy Ilium might perish, so would perish with an, and Priam, understand, would perish, and the people of Priam of the good ashen spear. Al umoi troon toson mele algos opiso. Now the toson goes with hoson, which is actually 4 or 5 lines further on. So this is very, very powerful. Homer's done this on purpose. He's separated these off to really pack a punch with this and put it first in the sentence, as you'll see when we reach there. So there is a concern for me, not so much of the grief hereafter, nor for Hecabe herself, nor for Lord Priam, nor for my brothers, all of whom good and all of whom, all of them and noble, literally, would, and this is Pesoian is optative from pipto, who would fall in the dust at the hands of enemy men, of hostile men, dusmenes. So not so much for them is there grief. Hoson su, this is su, siu for su, as much as for you. So it's put right at the beginning of the sentence and it's separated from the toson to give it effect here. So there is a concern for me, not so much for the grief of the Trojans hereafter, nor for Hecate or Priam or anyone else, but for you, as much as there is for you. When tis Achaeon, when someone among the bronze chitoned Achaeans, the Greeks, can, with the subjunctive, would lead, understand you, dakruosin, in tears, weeping, would lead you off weeping. Apuras here is a participle, having taken away, literally, your day of freedom, your free day, your day of freedom. So having deprived you of your freedom. And you being eusa in Argos, Huphinos, you would weave the histon, the web. So you would be doing the weaving. You would weave the web pros ales, a little bit funny, probably at the command of another woman here, at the behest of another, i.e. as a servant, and phereois optative, and you would bear, you would carry water from Messias or Hypereus. Now, this literally from the middle stream or the upper stream. Older commentators said that Messias was a stream in Sparta, that's if she goes as a slave of Menelaus, and Hyperea was one in Thessaly if she went as a slave of Achilles. This view is now generally rejected. It's just, these are just generic terms. So you would carry water from the middle stream or the upper stream. Pola eo kadzomine, unwilling muchly. So greatly unwilling. But strong necessity, epikaisetai, it's will, but we would say would lie upon you. So you wouldn't have any choice in the matter. Strong necessity would lie upon you, and at that time someone looking at you, the kata is preverb with the participle, keusa, so someone looking at you shedding a tear would say, and then this is what they say, this is the wife of Hector. Hos Aristuesque, this is an iterative form from Aristuo, who used to be the best mekesthai at fighting. So this is an infinitive, but remember the infinitive is really an old dative form, and so there's an example of this here. So who was the best at fighting among the horse-taming Trojans? When they fought Amphi around Ilium. Thus at that time will someone say. And it will be, moreover, a new grief for you. Now, kate is a very funny form. It's very rare. It's only ever used in this dative form. So it means by lack of. So by lack of such a husband to ward off the day of slavery. So you would be even more grieved because you don't have a husband who can ward off the day of slavery. But now we get kute goes with Gaia here. It means a mound, a heaped up earth. So heaped up earth, a mound of earth, and the cat is a preverb with kaluktoi, optative again, would cover me, would hide me, would cover me who had died. Perfect participle. Before, in fact, understand me, so before I would perceive any of your, in any way, your cry and your being dragged away, so your abduction. So if all this would happen, but by that stage I would be well and truly dead and buried, and all that would happen, so I wouldn't actually perceive of your crying and your being abducted.